4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
We were anxious to get the website up and running and functional, which we clearly have failed to do to date, although I would suggest the website has never crashed. It is functional, but at a very slow speed and very low reliability, and has continued to function. Having said that, they pared down some of the features, feeling that it would be better to load them in later. One was the shop and browse.
Yes or no has an end.
Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Steve Malzberg Show. Wednesday edition, and a very big day up on Capitol Hill as the Energy and Commerce Committee in the House got to grill Kathleen Sebelius. And there was some grilling, although there was some questions and topics that were very, very obvious by their absence. But joining us now is a man who was not involved in the hearings, but I'm sure he has plenty to say. Congressman Tim Muleskamp, Republican from Kansas. And hello, Congressman.
Steve, pleasure to join you. I was actually at the hearing. I do not serve on the committee.
Okay.
But I thought it was my duty as a Kansan to see what our former governor was up to. And I tell you, we're embarrassed.
Well, first of all, I was going to bring up the Kansas, but first of all, to what she just said. As she said that the website has never crashed, if you at the same time went on the website, it said this. I'm reading, the system is down at the moment. We are experiencing technical difficulties and hope to have them resolved soon. Please try again later. So right off the bat, right from the get-go, saying the system has never crashed, she said that as the system was crashed.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this administration, and starting with her and the president, I mean, it's absolutely clear they're going to lie, and they lied again. And she not only lied about it crashing. I mean, I frankly had been trying to get online for 4 weeks to make this happen. It's my duty as a congressman under Obamacare to sign up, despite they're trying to exempt me. But to stand there and say it's not crashed when indeed it has. But also, she also did admit that they had absolutely no reliable data. They don't even know what's happening. And if they do know what's happening, the numbers are so bad it's even worse than the news that's getting out.
No, you're absolutely right. Where to start with her? Let me bring up one of those items or issues that did not come up. I don't believe. I did not hear the whole hearing, but I haven't seen this anywhere. What about the fact that this was apparently a no-bid contract for the website? That was given to a company that has as one of its high-ranking officers Michelle Obama's Princeton buddy. I mean, how could that not be brought up by the Republicans on this committee?
Well, that's what you have happen when you have big government trying to take over 1/6 of the economy, and then what are they going to do? They're going to hire their friends. And that's happened over and over. This is just like Solyndra, which actually came up in the hearing, them hiring their buddies. They're incompetent. They mismanaged that. And it's just shameful that the American people took the lie of the president. He promised them, if you like your health care plan, you can keep it. And Kathleen Sebelius repeated that lie again today, and lying to the 10 million Americans at least that have lost their health care coverage because of Obamacare.
No, absolutely. And they're spinning this now to say that, well, it's not us. We're not canceling. It's the insurance companies that are canceling the policy. But the insurance companies are canceling the policies because the Obamacare law makes it so stringent that you have to have so much coverage. You have to have maternity coverage, even if you're a senior citizen. All this kind of nonsense that, of course, policies were going to be dropped. So he lied, she lied, he kept lying, they're lying now, the media is helping them lie, and you know what? You use the L word, but I got to tell you, in the media, they are so careful to use every synonym or any kind of word that approaches lying, but they will never say that Barack Obama lied. They have not yet said it.
And that is the case. But I tell you, Kathleen Sebelius knows the truth about the insurance industry. She was the insurance commissioner in Kansas for 8 years. She knows, and she admitted actually later in the hearing, yes, insurance companies, their plans change every year. What she didn't say, what she refused to say was, well, you know what, there are 75 lawsuits going on right now because of the mandates in your plan where people say, they're forced to cover things that insurance companies and individuals, millions of Americans, do not want. And that lawsuit hopefully will go up to the Supreme Court later this fall about Hobby Lobby and Little Sisters of the Poor, and that didn't even come up at all. But at the end of the day, the website is the symptom. The real problem is the arrogance of these folks that think they can do better than you and me in picking our health care plan. And we're going to see continued disasters on this front. They'll probably get the website straightened out one day, but at the end of the day, do you want Kathleen Sebelius picking your doctor and your insurance company? At the end of the day, when she gets done picking, regulating, and choosing, there'll be one choice left, and that'll be single payer, which is where they're heading, I do believe.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what they want. There was also a point, Congressman, where she was asked about something she had said to Sanjay Gupta about wishing she needed 5 years, not 3, and she said, "Oh, I don't recall saying 5 years or anything." Let me play it for you. This will be cut 41. Will, here's cut 41.
The president did say that he was angry about this. I mean, do you know when he first knew that there was a problem?
Well, I think it became clear fairly early on, the first couple of days. That.
So not before that, though? Not before
No,
October 1st? There was no concern at that point, either in the White House or at HHS?
I think that we talked about having testing going forward, and if we had an ideal situation and could have built a product in, a 5-year period of time, we probably would have taken 5 years. But we didn't have 5 years, and certainly Americans who rely on health coverage didn't have 5 years for us to wait. We wanted to make sure we made good on this final implementation of the law.
Now, there she is, obviously saying she wished she had 5 years. They needed 5 years for optimum, results. And today she looked at the congressman like he had 2 heads.
Well, when you're trying to cover up a huge mistake and you're trying to move down the road and say, hey, nothing happening here, and when you're trying to deflect the fact you've overseen a great debacle, you're going to continue to lie. But the biggest one of all is trying to tell 10 million Americans, including thousands of Kansans in my district, saying, you know what? You don't have health insurance today because we canceled your coverage, even if you liked it. Kathleen Sebelius of the National Convention said that will never happen. The president said that over and over. He just said it just about a month ago. Again, repeated the lie. At least the media is starting to see through that one. But to have her repeat that is only Nixonian in its approach to say, hey, if you say it long enough, maybe the media will finally report the spin.
Yeah, and
but
that
you can't tell these 10 million Americans they still have their insurance. You can lie all you want.
Right.
But I've heard from Jennifer in Phillipsburg, Kansas. I've heard from families all across the state of Kansas. They are being harmed by our Obamacare, and Kathleen Sebelius does not care.
No, we're talking to Congressman Tim Yuleskamp, a Republican from Kansas. Interesting, it was it was Congressman Joe Barton from Texas who made the Kansas analogy, and of course the Wizard of Oz when he said to Kathleen Sebelius, "You're not in Kansas anymore." That must have hit home for you.
It really did. For the record, she didn't originate from Kansas. She's from Ohio.
I know you want to disown her as much as possible.
You know what? I said, hey, I signed a letter to ask her to resign, and the president could fire her yesterday if he wanted to. But I did say, hey, if we're going to do that, at least give asylum for her to a foreign country so she doesn't return back to Kansas, where she's done some very destructive things that we're trying to recover and finally years later making some progress in the right direction. But one thing I've noted as well, in Kansas and elsewhere, we have a little word called hypocrisy. You know what? If it's not good enough for you, Kathleen Sebelius, and she was asked, she tried to avoid that question over and over. If it's not good enough for you, why are you requiring Americans to sign up for Obamacare? She refuses to sign up for it. She lied that she couldn't sign up for it. She can.
Right. She said,
can go on the D.C. exchange, pick up the phone, or wait on the website for 2 weeks, but she can do that. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want to change anything. She wants it just for the rest of you and a different laws for the political class.
She actually said I think it's illegal for me. She has the same insurance you guys have. It would be illegal for her to dump it and go get a private policy. That's absurd. Hey, Congressman, I thank you, as always, for your honesty and for being there and keep holding them to account.
We will do that. Thank you, Steve.
All right, thank you. Congressman Tim Yuleskamp, ladies and gentlemen, Republican from Kansas. Dorothy, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And when we come home to the Steve Malzberg Show, a congressman who was participating in the hearings.
The Steve
Judging from everything you hear, you think all cholesterol is bad, but that's not really true. You need a certain amount of cholesterol to maintain good health. The problem is that too much cholesterol in your blood contributes to a plaque, a fatty substance that narrows the coronary arteries that feed blood flow to your heart. Picture your coronary arteries as a 4-lane highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major problem. But if a 3rd lane becomes blocked, that spells trouble. It's the same way with your coronary arteries. And when plaque slows their blood flow to your heart, this can even cause a heart attack. The good news is that when it comes to cholesterol, lifestyle changes can pay off big time. Even a small reduction in plaque can be like opening up another highway lane. Suddenly, blood flow that was stalled can go forward again. Changing your lifestyle does not have to be hard. And in fact, here are 3 ways to help you start lowering your cholesterol. Snack on nuts. Nuts are probably one of the easiest and tastiest ways to lower cholesterol. Walnuts and almonds are among the best. Bulk up your diet with fiber. Choose whole fruits instead of a fruit juice, brown rice instead of white, and if you're eating a baked potato, be sure to leave the skin on. Choose fish. Fish contains cholesterol-fighting omega-3 fatty acids. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
Do you have trouble remembering things you've known for years? Do you want to maintain your mental edge, support your memory, focus, and attention? After extensive research, Dr. Russell Blaylock discovered 4 essential nutrients that help sustain optimal brain function. Dr. Russell Blaylock then personally formulated Crescio, the dietary supplement containing these 4 brain boosters that promote brain cognitive health, improve learning and retention. Crescio supports brain circulation and provides antioxidant protection. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Crescio. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Crescio.com/special. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, Nature's Brain Boosters, Essential Nutrients for Peak Mental Performance. Give your brain the healthy support it needs. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Crescio.com/special. That's Cresceo.com/special. Crescio.com/special.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES, 855-500-DIABETES.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is LigNet? LigNet is confidential. LigNet is sensitive. LigNet is security. What is LigNet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on lignet.com. You've been briefed.
But it's a pretty simple question and simple answer, and a little condescending on that from her. But I think it's one that it appears to have been a dominant answer, because she's probably having to answer for that right now.
Well, yes, and you've tweeted it out, and I've
answer, because she's probably having to answer for that right now.
Well, yes, and you've tweeted it out, and I've reached it at that point. Did you expect that at that point when you heard it, that it might, just keep going viral, as they say, and become the takeaway moment, if you will, from the hearing?
Yeah, Steve, I certainly, when I heard it, I said, that really wasn't a good answer for her. But no, I had no idea that it would go viral like this and do that, and we'd be talking about hashtag whatever. That's kind of a unexpected turn. But look, that's a simple question. I was glad she apologized, and that was a good thing. But look, there's so many things here that we don't trust about this administration, and for the president to talk about glitches, and then when she talked today, and her questioning today, she talked about a punch list. Well, that's a simple walkthrough when you're getting a house, and this is not that. And so they've tried to downplay everything in this situation, and it's a disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. It harkens me back to Hillary Clinton testifying about Benghazi, when she got frustrated and said, "What difference does it make why they attacked us at the compound?" To me, it was basically another version of the same thing.
Yeah, this is that goes in there with whatever, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now there was another moment where she was asked, and this will be cut 39, about the security involved in the website, and whether or not the testing on the security of the site has been done. And here's cut 39. Give a listen.
Yes or no, has an end-to-end security test on healthcare.gov went live, yes or no?
I will find out exactly what testing they're doing. I know they're doing simultaneous testing as new code is loaded.
Are there any end-to-end security tests run after every new piece of code is put in this? I'm not talking about testing the code now. I'm talking about an end-to-end security test.
I can't tell you how
covers the cross of the boundaries.
But I will get you that information.
I can tell you they're not, and I'd be interested to hear why not.
All right, there's that. And Congressman, when she said that the website has never gone down, at the same moment that you could have put on a split screen, if you went to the website, it said the website is down. I mean, what does that say to you?
It's just, there's almost an arrogance here of don't mess with us and go back to the trust us philosophy. And that question that you played, of course, was Mike Rogers, who's chairman of Intel. Nobody understands security issues better than Mike. And she didn't comfort us with her answer in that situation. And we're talking about we're talking about hackers having the ability to get in, which we know that they can do. And then you go back to the navigator issue of people that are going to have access to individuals' most personal and private information, and they haven't even really been screened themselves. So this is not just a software issue or a program issue. This is an entire law that is obviously hurting a lot of folks.
We're talking to Congressman Greg Harper here on the Steve Malzberg Show. He was a member of the committee that grilled Kathleen Sebelius today, and he hit the jackpot, if you will, with the whatever comment from the secretary. I want to, before I ask your overall impression and to sum it up, and what you learned today and what you didn't learn, but what was she asked about the contractor who got this, apparently, from what I know, no-bid contract to build this website, turns out to be Michelle Obama's Princeton buddy. I mean, are anybody going to hold the administration's feet to the fire for that?
There's no good answer to that question, is there? And that is certainly going to be a problem. But one of the companies responsible for that they hired to do this, CGI.
Yeah.
We got a hold and questioned her on this. We had their slide presentation from October 11th, 10 or 11 days after that, and their challenges that they put on the last page of their presentation was challenges. Unable to determine at this time whether low enrollment counts are attributable to system issues or due to users choosing not to select or enroll in a plan. You know, you can fix a software issue. They can ultimately fix this, but you can't fix the part where people don't like it and they don't want to be a part of it. And they can't give us any numbers, any facts.
Well,
So-
they won't give you any numbers
Yeah.
or any facts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. With all due respect, you brushed over, said there's no good answers. You're aware of that, and that will be brought up in the future? I mean, you will hold them accountable or ask for answers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Those will not go away. And I can tell you, as we continue on other things, there's no trust of this administration. That's our problem. And you go back, whether it's Benghazi, you know, when we were told it was a video, or you go back to the IRS, or now you're looking at what we're doing here on from navigators to contractors to the rollout. And, yeah, this is ready, being told repeatedly this was ready. And also having a president who, you know, they're saying he didn't know. You know, I don't know what I'm more comforted or more upset about. It would be if the president knew and kept saying you could keep your health insurance plans and he knew you really couldn't, or if he didn't know. I mean,
which do you think? Which do you think, Congressman?
Oh, look, you can't tell me that. You got to know, and you're charged with that responsibility.
Absolutely.
But what we found out is the president's rule where he said if you like your health insurance plan, you can keep it. What he meant to say was, if I like your health insurance plan, you can keep it.
Right.
And
Congressman,
that's where we are.
I appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks,
Thank you
Steve.
very much.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Thanks.
You too. Congressman Greg Harper, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, the man who was the U.S. ambassador to the Holy See, Francis Rooney, under George W. Bush for 3 years. Looking forward to this on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Are you at least 62 years old like me? Could you use an extra $50,000, $100,000 or more to live a better life? Then please consider the benefits a reverse mortgage can provide to you. With a reverse mortgage, you can have your mortgage payments stopped altogether and get equity out of your home to live on. And you can use the money to help you live a better life. How nice would that be, not to have a mortgage payment? Qualifying for a reverse mortgage is simple, since there are no income, asset, employment, or credit requirements. However, you must be 62 years or older, own your home outright, or have a very low balance on the mortgage, and be prepared to live in it throughout the rest of the loan. Call now for more information.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even a renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes that prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply for complete details. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. While supplies last, try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/special. That's prostaterevive.com/special.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's LIMBEX joint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
Service on your repairs at little or no cost to you. Precision Repair Network. They'll get you moving again. Operators are ready to take your call right now. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. That's 800-978-4813.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show.
No.
This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Well, Pope Francis got a surprise visitor over the weekend when a little boy wandered onto the stage in front of thousands of people. There was a crowd of about 150,000. They had gathered in St. Peter's Square for an event about families. Well, the boy stood close to Pope Francis as speakers addressed the audience. At one point, the pontiff smiled, patted him on the cheek, and the boy actually even grabbed onto his leg at one point. So Pope Francis seemed to enjoy that moment. That's just great.
Some of his aides tried to actually usher the little boy off, and the little boy said, no, I'm back and hugged him longer.
So sweet.
Very,
love
very
that.
cute.
See, grabbing onto the leg. Gotta love that. Isn't that great?
It was great. That is so great. I can't tell you how moving that is for me to see. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Joining us right now, I am so honored to welcome in Ambassador Francis Rooney, who for 3 years served as the ambassador to the Holy See under George W. Bush from 2005 to 2008, and he is the author of a great new book, The Global Vatican, Inside Look at the Catholic Church, World Politics, and the Extraordinary Relationship between the United States and the Holy See. And Mr. Ambassador, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Steve. I'm thankful to be here.
Well, it is my pleasure to have you. Let me ask you. I mean, I just ran the video for folks watching at Newsmax TV to see that, along with hearing the story on the radio. So I don't know if you had a chance to see that. The very poignant, touching, tear-jerking to me pictures of that little boy who was adorable and the way the Pope treated him and handled him. It was just, to me, very emblematic of who this new Pope, Pope Francis, is.
I think you're absolutely right. He's incredibly warm, and I love his kind of new world openness and informality and candor. It's very refreshing to see. My hope is that because of his warmth and his attention to these kinds of symbolisms, that he will be able to carry the Holy See's diplomatic message to a much more broad and deep understanding.
Well, absolutely. And before we get into much of the book, and also before we get into the special relationship, which is a good part of the book, between the United States and the Vatican, I just want to ask you about the Pope. And there's have been reports from the very beginning that the Curia is not so happy about some of the changes that the Pope has instituted. As far as you know, is this true? And where do we stand with that, or where do they stand with that?
Well, I'm sure that there are people in the Curia that are not happy with his different lifestyle and informality. And sometimes that formality is built up as a barrier, and I think this Pope is breaking down barriers in a really constructive way. Right off the bat, he quoted Ignatius of Antioch when he walked out on the balcony, and I thought that was a very clear statement of what he was going to stand for, because in the 2nd century, Ignatius of Antioch was concerned about the church being distracted by organizational things and said that it's important not just to be Christians, but to be Christian.
Yeah. So you
kind of like Pope Benedict, before he was elected, he said, gave the great speech about the dictatorship of relativism. So for both of these two popes, there's no doubt about where they stand.
And you think that he will obviously, as Pope, he will reform the Curia, correct?
I believe he will, and I think he's already said about it. He's appointed a commission to reform the Vatican Bank and make sure that they comply with all the requirements for anti-money laundering and anti-tax evasion and transparency. He's also set up a commission to look at reforms for the Curia. The American hierarchy was very vocal prior to the election about needs for curial reforms and better decision-making and more collective decision-making and less silos. I think Cardinal Wuerl spoke very clearly about that. And I think this Pope's taken that at hand. He's appointed some really good people like Cardinal O'Malley and Cardinal Maradiaga from Honduras on that committee.
And let me ask you, Mr. Ambassador, he's also angered some Catholic thinkers, such as Michael Novak, for instance, by suggesting not that the church not focus, and he won't be focused perhaps on issues like abortion, contraception, homosexuality. What's your take on that? Because it seems like while he's made those comments, he at least on one or two of those issues has then turned around and made contradictory comments when it comes to actual church policy and belief. So where do you think he will stand on those issues, and how will he talk about them and going forward?
Well, I think you have to parse a little bit what he was saying. The media jumped all over the comments which he initially made in their exuberance to hear something new, I suppose, from a pope. But comments which he initially made in their exuberance to hear something new, I suppose, from a pope. But in any respect, I think he just said we need to broaden the dialogue, that there are a lot of other things that the Holy See stands for and needs to stand for in the world today than just those issues. And rather than distract dialogue from social mission, the needs of the poor, building the middle class, which is, very important to democracy in places like Africa and Latin America, I think he said we need to balance and speak about everything.
We're talking to Ambassador Francis Rooney, who served as U.S. Ambassador to the Holy See from 2005 to 2008, and is the author of a great new book, The Global Vatican, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Let me ask you a couple more here about the Pope's role. I do a lot of shows on the killing and persecution of Christians all over the world. I mean, the Copts in Egypt specifically, but you go around the Middle East or parts of Africa, and it's just every day, unfortunately, people being threatened with conversion at the threat of being beheaded, and right on down the line. What could the Pope do? Has the Pope done enough, do you believe? Because I asked this question of every, anybody related to religion, whether they're Christian, Jewish, or Muslim that I have on. I think it should be a worldwide unified effort. But what can and what has the Pope done to combat this?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. It's an area where the Holy See can really offer a lot of value to the world of diplomacy and the way that different states deal with each other. Pope Benedict used the unique position of the Holy See to speak out more clearly and aggressively against radical Islamic terrorism and the use of religion as an instrument of persecution than I think any elected official has. When he spoke at Regensburg, and when he spoke about the Danish cartoons, and then when he spoke about some of the violence in the that you just mentioned to the Copts on, I believe it was January 1st of 2009. And the blowing up of the cathedral in Baghdad the week before. So
we've come a long way since then, with all due respect. I mean, I haven't heard much, lately, should I say.
Well, no, but Pope Francis did issue a diplomatic note 2 weeks ago about Syria, where he reiterated the same principles, right, calling for a focus on the centrality of the person and calling for a broad concept of citizenship, which includes Christians and all minorities, which really needs to be taken up concerning the whole Middle East.
Yeah.
That the concept of citizenship, and then the concept that Cardinal Turan and many Holy See diplomats have put forth of reciprocity. Pope Benedict spoke often about the need for reciprocity with the Arab world.
And so do you think that we could, as this continues, that we could see and hear more from the Pope, maybe in
I hope so.
a Christmas message, an Easter message, or something going forward at least?
I think you will, and I think the appointment of Pietro Parolin as Secretary of State is a good warning sign, I guess, or signal.
Yeah, barometer of things to come, possibly, yeah.
Maintain a robust diplomatic posture and try to add value in those areas. You know, after Regensburg, 38 Muslim clerics came together and issued a communique saying we're going to have to find consonance between the teachings of the Quran and the modern world. Okay, it's a start. There's been a lot of interreligious dialogue over the years that may have gotten nowhere, or maybe have gotten somewhere, but we've got to be trying every possible way to seek this acceptance of modernity by the Muslim world.
Now,
and as more and more Muslims do that, maybe we'll solve this problem.
And having said that, when we look at Latin America, of course, he being the first pope from with those roots, how does he go about keeping Latin America Catholic, or keeping, or making more and more, keeping the membership, the overwhelming numbers that we have, as opposed to losing them to possibly other faiths, or just to no other faith, but just not practicing Catholics?
Well, I think that it's both a get more people back into the Catholic fold mission, and it's also a diplomatic mission of work to create a climate which is more stable for the poor and for the middle class, and which will enable real democracies to flourish there instead of these election-driven autocracies that we have in many parts of Latin America. You know, being from Argentina and having stood up to the Videla government and then now 12 years of the Kirchners, I think the Pope's got the battle scars to be ready to do business with authoritarian regimes. And he's got this, by introducing this strong social mission, maybe he's laying the predicate. I don't know, but he could be laying the predicate to leverage that in Latin America, where he's known to seek improvement in education and job opportunities and competition and all those things that it's going to take for Latin America to create a middle class.
We're talking
Which,
to
at the end of the day, is good diplomacy.
Absolutely. We're talking to Ambassador Francis Rooney, former ambassador to the Holy See and author of The Global Vatican, the inside look at the Catholic Church, world politics, and the extraordinary relationship between the U.S. and the Holy See. Let me ask you about that relationship. Why did it take so long? I think it started under Ronald Reagan, if I'm not mistaken, for the U.S. to have an ambassador to the Holy See. And do you believe that under President Obama, relations are the same? Have they strengthened? Have they weakened?
Well, that's really one of the reasons I wrote the book. You look at the natural, one would think natural symmetry between the country founded on the inalienable rights of man and with the First Amendment, and the Holy See, who's the preeminent human dignity protector of the world. But it's taken a long time till 1983 to send an ambassador there. Even though there were a couple of, it's taken a long time till 1983 to send an ambassador there. Even though there were a couple of, and that's due to a lot of things, anti-Catholic prejudice in the United States. For many years, the Holy See was very monarchical, and of course, we were the country that was founded on a revolution to get away from monarchies and statism. But all that worked out, and I think starting with President Reagan, we've had a very robust engagement up until the election of President Obama. He right away alienated, I guess, the Church and the Holy See with some of his stances on the life issues, which seem to have been long put to bed by 8 years of George Bush, and starting with Ronald Reagan, and even Clinton really didn't undermine them too bad. But now Obama has waged a full-fledged attack on many things concerning the life issues, the specter of rationed care under the Affordable Care Bill, and now lately squaring off against the First Amendment with the health care mandate. And so obviously, it's no surprise that the Holy See hasn't spoken favorably about those things, and it's no surprise that the Holy See hasn't spoken favorably about those things, and actually really hasn't expressed a whole lot of interest in what the Holy See can do for the world. Which is unfortunate, because as we've seen so many examples of very decent and positive work in the area of advancing, as we've seen so many examples of very decent and positive work in the area of advancing.
Absolutely. Well, I got to tell you, it's a fascinating read. I got it sent to my home by your guy Steve Manfredi, and I couldn't put it down. And thank you for being with us. I hope you'll come back, sir. And best of luck. It's the Global Freddie, and I couldn't put it down. And thank you for being with us. I hope you'll come back, sir. And best of luck. It's the Global. The honor's mine. Thank you. All right, folks. We're coming back. 877 Newsmax 877-639-7629. Interesting comments. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even a renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes that prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit prostaterevive.com/special for complete details. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate, while supplies last. Try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/special. That's prostaterevive.com/special.
Larry works on the construction site when he's not held up with constipation. Mary sits all day at a desk, which does little to relieve gas and bloating. You can't schedule abdominal discomfort, but you can help alleviate it with Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic supplement that comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. It includes the most essential ingredients necessary to help support your healthy digestive and immune function. Experience the results. Learn how you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just visit Bactipro.com/offer. All you cover is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Do something about your digestive health now. Get your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/offer. That's BACTIPRO.com/offer. Limited time only. Bactipro.com/offer.
Obamacare. President Obama's massive healthcare law is taking effect this year. With over 15,000 pages of regulations, few even know what it means. Now, the Obamacare Survival Guide by Nick Tate gives you the shocking facts about this law. It's a step-by-step guide on how you can protect yourself. Already a New York Times bestseller, every American needs to get the Obamacare Survival Guide and find out about the new taxes, hidden fees, fines, Medicare changes, business rules, and why doctor shortages are likely. Donald Trump says the Obamacare Survival Guide is a must-read for anyone worried about getting good health care for themselves or their employees. So get the Obamacare Survival Guide. It's at bookstores, or get our special offer at Obamacare311.com and you'll save $15. Go now to Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Judging from everything you hear, you think all cholesterol is bad, but that's not really true. You need a certain amount of cholesterol to maintain good health. The problem is that too much cholesterol in your blood contributes to a plaque, a fatty substance that narrows the coronary arteries that feed blood flow to your heart. Picture your coronary arteries as a 4-lane highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major problem. But if a 3rd lane becomes blocked, that spells trouble. It's the same way with your coronary arteries. And when plaque slows their blood flow to your heart, this can even cause a heart attack. The good news is that when it comes to cholesterol, lifestyle changes can pay off big time. Even a small reduction in plaque can be like opening up another highway lane. Suddenly, blood flow that was stalled can go forward again. Changing your lifestyle does not have to be hard. And in fact, here are 3 ways to help you start lowering your cholesterol. Snack on nuts. Nuts are probably one of the easiest and tastiest ways to lower cholesterol. Walnuts and almonds are among the best. Bulk up your diet with fiber. Choose whole fruits instead of a fruit juice, brown rice instead of white, and if you're eating a baked potato, be sure to leave the skin on. Choose fish. Fish contains cholesterol-fighting omega-3 fatty acids. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
I said this once or twice, but it bears repeating. And you can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it.
If you like the plan you have, you can keep it.
If you like your plan and you like your doctor, you won't have to do a thing. You keep your plan. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. If you've got health insurance, you can keep it. If you like your health care plan, you will keep your plan. If you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. If you have insurance that you like, then you will be able to keep that insurance. If you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep it. If you want to keep the health insurance you got, you can keep it. If you like the insurance plan you have now, you can keep it. And if you like your insurance plan, you will keep it. So if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your plan, keep your plan. If you like your current insurance, you will keep your current insurance. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you're happy with what you got, nobody's changing it. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you're happy with what you got, nobody's changing it.
Times he said it, it was a lie every time he said it, and it's a lie today. And coming up after the break at the top of the hour, in the second hour, we will be joined by Glenn Kessler, the fact checker from the top of the hour. In the second hour, we will be joined by Glenn Kessler, the fact checker from the one Pinocchio, two Pinocchio, reminds me, one potato, two potato, three potato, four. One Pinocchio, two Pinocchio, three Pinocchio, four Pinocchios. That's right, four Pinocchios. So we're going to get to that in the next hour. I want to make you a little wiser than you might possibly be. By the way, Sanjay Gupta is now on CNN every 5 minutes because CNN is they're in a state of flux. Sanjay, remind us what all the good that's in the Obamacare Affordable Care Act. Sanjay and Wolf Blitzer. Well, of course. Well, if you could keep your kids on until they're 96 and you never have to pay for anything again as long as you live, and if you have a pre-existing condition, they can't turn you down. Oh, thank you for reminding us that there's so much good in the health care bill, Sanjay. It's insane. It's insane. Every minute on it, he's now on telling us how good the bill is. Anyway, this out of London, Britain's highest court. He's now on telling us how good the bill is. Anyway, this out of London, from a lower court, to withhold treatment from a terminally ill man despite objections from the man's family. I want you to listen, and I want you to listen good. In a unanimous judgment handed down Wednesday, the Supreme Court of, we're in London now, we're in England, okay? They ruled that the Court of Appeals, or as they call it, the Court of Appeal, was correct in allowing Entre University Hospital in Liverpool to withhold treatment from David James, 68, who suffered colon cancer, organ failure, and a stroke, among other problems. His doctors estimated he had a 1% chance of survival and applied to a court for protection for a legal failure and a stroke, among other problems. His doctors estimated he had a 1% chance of survival. The court rejected the application. On December 6th, 15 days later, the Court of Appeals reversed the decision. By that time, James's condition had worsened, and he died on December 31st. Until his death, James had been dependent on a breathing machine. He had a tube to provide him with basic nutrition and hydration. His doctor said daily care tasks caused him pain and suffering. James's family argued that his care should have continued. And isn't that what this country is all about? Our country now. I know I'm taking from England and bringing it here, but it's not apples and oranges. Isn't that what we are all about? If this person wants to die and has it in his will, do not resuscitate, blah, 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 then he should have the right to. But if the family and he wants to stay alive, the family wants him to stay alive, isn't it our culture, isn't it our way of life that we do whatever we can for our loved ones to keep them living? That's all changing now. We will become England. We will become Canada. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. Remember Barack Obama said, hey, 80% of the healthcare costs in this country are for keeping people alive in the last 6 months of life or 1 year of life. Gee, if we could only kill those people off sooner, think of all the money we'd save. He didn't say that, but I'm taking it to its natural progression. So anyway, the Supreme Court judges concluded that where treatment is futile, it would be in the best interests of the patient to withdraw or withhold life-sustaining treatment, even if the patient dies. So the court knows best. The court said it was futile. So they said it's in the best interest of the patient if you let him die. That's where we're headed in this country. Are you ready? Thank you, Dr. Obama. Can't wait for that to happen. Bring on the death panels because they're already out there. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. Top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is Lignet? Lignet is confidential. Lignet is sensitive. Lignet is security. What is Lignet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on Lignet.com. You've been briefed.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, all while you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, investments, and home's value. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer, who was the only expert to predict the recession, has released a startling video with shocking evidence that the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Watch it at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm Kathleen Walter. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius is on the hot seat today over the bungled launch of the healthcare.gov website. Sebelius is testifying before the House Energy and Commerce Committee today. In a Newsmax exclusive, syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer predicts Obamacare could fail.
If Obamacare fails, I think that would set back the liberal project of the inexorable expansion of the welfare state till it reaches the contours of the European social democratic entitlement state. It would set back that project by a generation.
President Obama is promoting his health care plan during a speech in Boston today. The National Intelligence Director told Congress that spying on heads of state isn't an uncommon practice. James Clapper testified that the U.S. tries to find out what other world leaders are doing, just as other nations try to spy on American officials.
It's one of the first things I learned in Intel school in 1963.
To be perfectly clear, this is not information that we collected on European citizens. It represents information that we and our NATO allies have collected in defense of our countries and in support of military operations.
Congressional negotiators will attempt to do something they haven't been able to accomplish in the last 4 years, find a compromise on a budget. House and Senate negotiators will sit down today for the first formal negotiations to find a budget deal before the temporary budget expires January 15th. Earlier this month, Egyptian security forces have arrested a key Muslim Brotherhood figure who'd been on the run since the July coup that ousted the country's Islamist president. The Interior Ministry is reporting the arrest of Assam El Arian, the deputy leader of the Brotherhood's Freedom and Justice Party. His arrest was the latest in a wide-ranging crackdown and prosecution of the Islamist group's leaders since the ouster of President Mohamed Morsi. In Australia, one man's fishtail was caught on tape. This was the scene off the coast of Cairns in far north Queensland, Australia. Bill McDonald was reeling in a 380-pound marlin when the fish darts into the boat, thrashes around, and chases a deckhand who goes overboard into shark-infested waters. The humans on board were just fine, and the video of the ordeal has gone viral on the web. The World Series returns to Boston tonight. The Red Sox lead the Cardinals 3-2. Tonight's game starts at 8:07 Eastern Standard Time at Fenway Park. Coming up next, Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson says he's prepared to sue the Obama administration. He'll explain why in a Newsmax exclusive. Plus, a surfer rides what's being hailed as the biggest wave ever ridden right into the record books.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, and you may be forced to watch helplessly as you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, all while your home's value is eradicated. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer believes we will soon stare down a secret crisis that will rival the Great Depression. It was Wiedemer's 2005 book, America's Bubble Economy, that warned of coming meltdowns in our housing and stock markets. Washington did not heed his call, and folks on Main Street lost $50 trillion from the recession. His New York Times best-selling book, Aftershock, predicted our federal debt and dollar would be the next bubbles to burst. And now, Robert Wiedemer has released a startling video with shocking evidence the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Join us at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
And welcome back. In a Newsmax exclusive, Senator Ron Johnson tells Newsmax he is prepared to sue the lawless Obama administration over its decision to grant members of Congress and their staff special treatment under Obamacare.
I really do intend to pursue a lawsuit to overturn another unlawful ruling by the Office of Personnel Management that grants members of Congress and their staff special treatment under Obamacare. I think the president had no legal authority to initiate that ruling.
Brazilian surfer Carlos Burley may have ridden the biggest wave of all time. This is video that caught Burley setting a new big wave record in Portugal while riding a giant wave estimated at 100 feet tall. Burley surfed the wave moments after helping to rescue a fellow surfer who almost drowned. And remember, for more exclusive interviews and content, stay with Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter, and this has been your Newsmax Now update for October 30th. Take care. Newsmax Now update for October 30th. Take care.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
I said this once or twice, but it bears repeating. And you can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it. If you like the plan you have, you can keep it. If you like your plan and you like your doctor, you won't have to do a thing. You keep your plan. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. If you've got health insurance, you can keep it. If you like your health care plan, you will keep your plan. If you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. If you have insurance that you like, then you will be able to keep that insurance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hour number 2, Steve Malzberg Show. You're familiar with this by now. We played you the full version of that where he said it about 14, 15 times in the previous hour. Now, I just want you to hear one thing before we go to our next guest. I want you to hear the chatter on the Morning Joe on MSNBC, where although they didn't like to use the lying word, the people around Joe Scarborough, but listen to what Scarborough said, because there was an NBC report the other day that said basically Obama knew that this wasn't the case while he was saying it. Here's that Scarborough cut.
The bigger part of the story is, damaging part is, Lisa Myers is reporting that the president was saying things that he knew were not true.
I never understood why he said, if you like your health care plan, you can keep it, because he was relying somehow on the insurance companies to keep this promise.
Lisa Myers' report is
I understand
that he
the report.
knew that he was not telling the truth.
Well,
and he said it at the State of the Union address. He said it in 2012, based on this NBC News investigation. The president knew he was telling deliberate untruths. And how do they get around that?
How do they get around that? Well, a lie's a lie, whether you want to call it. And we welcome in take two. We welcome in Glenn Kessler of the Washington Post. Of course, the Washington Post fact checker. Glenn, welcome back, sir.
Glad to be with you.
Well, it's good to talk to you. And one thing that struck me there as an aside was Chuck Todd, the White House correspondent, saying, I never understood why they made that promise. Well, if you're the White House correspondent and you're a reporter, and this has been going on for 3 years more, then why didn't you ever ask that question over that amount of time if you never understood why they said that? But that's another issue. So you rated the president 4 Pinocchios. That's, I guess, as bad as you could get, right?
Yes, that's the maximum. That means you told a whopper.
Well, talk about that. I mean, you pull out quotes, a couple of them from 2009, from 2010, and then Valerie Jarrett tweeting on 2013. I mean, there's no way around this, right? It's a lie.
I use the word Pinocchios. I don't.
Too? You won't say lie? Why not?
Well, lie suggests a particular
intent. Yeah.
Intent.
Okay.
And you know, I can't get in someone's head.
Okay, fair enough. I'll say, you don't have to agree with that. We'll make that's my opinion and not the opinion of my guest. But talk about talk about what he said and talk about what the facts are as you see them.
Well, I mean, he said this repeatedly as the health care law was being debated, and you know, and one of the things I found is that there was reporting. For instance, I quote the Associated Press that said, at the time, it's impossible for the president to make this pledge. And that there was already CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, had already estimated that 10 million Americans would need to get new insurance as the plan was being written. And Republicans had raised this too, but the president has a very large megaphone. And not only did he say it while it was being debated, but then he said it repeatedly after the law was signed and the bill was signed into law. And as I go through, what we're seeing right now is the impact on the individual market, not the people that get their plans through employers, which happens to be most people, but people that buy individual insurance. And there were a number of things that the administration itself put out that said, essentially, because these plans aren't meeting our requirements under Obamacare, a lot of these people are going to lose their insurance.
Yeah, and it's funny you said grandfathered because he specifically, back in February of 2010, said this. Let's listen to what he said. Cut number 7.
Actually, any insurance that you currently have would be grandfathered in so you could keep. And so you could decide not to get in the exchange the better plan. I could keep my Acme insurance, just a high deductible catastrophic plan. I would not be required to get the better one.
There you go.
Right, but see, there are a couple problems there. First of all, the regulations that they wrote implementing the plan, and I went through these regulations. They wrote them very tight. So, for instance, there was one provision that said that if the copay increased by more than $5 plus, a percentage of medical inflation, so essentially for last year, if it increased by $5.20, suddenly that plan was no longer grandfathered.
Yeah.
If the rules were written to kind of get rid of these old plans because they wanted, I guess, they wanted more people to get into the new
exchanges.
System.
Yeah.
And a case can be made that the benefits that you would be getting are going to be more robust and what have you. Of course, you might have to pay a higher premium
and a higher deductible and get less reimbursement, as so many people have told me. Even Ted Rall, the liberal cartoonist, who I'm sure you're familiar with, said I think he was going up by over 30-40% in premium. The deductible was just about double. I think from $2,500 to 50 to 5,000 or a little less, and he was only going to get reimbursed 50% instead of 80%. So I mean, and you say better coverage, and with all due respect, better according to who? I mean, if I don't want a maternity coverage, now I got to pay for it. If I don't want whatever else baldness coverage, now I got to pay for it. I mean,
I corrected myself. I said more robust.
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Yes, you can't make a distinction about what is better.
Right.
Not,
well, the news media is doing that every day. Believe me. But anyway.
What it is that it's a mandated, required, very broad thing. And yes, I saw an interview with a woman who was over 40 and said, "I don't want to pay for maternity coverage."
Yeah.
So
crazy.
And the other weird thing about the way the law was written was it had this effective date of March 23rd, 2010, which was the day the law was signed. But it really, a better way to, the insurance companies actually wanted to have the effective date December 31st, 2013.
Right.
Because that way, if you are in a plan right now, you could say, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to stick in because I like it this way. But instead they did it. So if for some reason you changed your plan or you lost your job briefly and then got on another plan after March 23rd, 2010, you have no choice. Because you're not grandfathered in any way.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I should point out for those of you who haven't read Glenn Kessler's piece. today, it's not just, blah, 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 4 Pinocchios. You got 1, 2, 3. I printed it out, four pages, chock full of facts, information, quotes, snippets from the bill itself, as you just alluded to, the way it was written with the 5% increase, all that. So you have everything in there, as you always do, but I just want to let people who aren't familiar know that you really examine this. And by the way, I'm looking at the crawl right now. The closed captioning as the president speaks in Boston, talking about the fact that now it's down to $50 a month. Remember, it used to be $100. Now 18 young people could get the insurance policy as low as $50 a month. It's insane. Maybe you should fact check that one tomorrow. But anyway, Glenn, I really appreciate your time, sir. Good to talk to you.
Glad to talk to you.
Thank you. Glenn Kessler, ladies and gentlemen, Washington Post fact checker. Washington Post fact checker giving Barack Obama, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 Pinocchios. You can't get worse than 4 Pinocchios. Now he's out there talking about more stuff. They know no shame. No shame. No shame. Between him and Sebelius, no shame whatsoever. What do you expect? Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malz. Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
If your prostate is giving you problems and your doc says it's just part of getting older, be wary. Renowned physician and author Dr. David Brownstein thinks this is baloney. He's discovered a link between aging and prostate health and believes prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. That's why he created Prostate Revive.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Brownstein. I personally formulated Prostate Revive to include the most essential natural ingredients available to help promote a healthy prostate gland and optimal urinary function.
The producers of Dr. Brownstein's Prostate Revive are so thrilled with the positive feedback from satisfied customers that for a limited time, they are willing to send you your first month's supply free. Plus, call now and you'll also receive Dr. Brownstein's special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. For details on getting your free bottle, call 1-800-596-REVIVE. That's 1-800-596-REVIVE. Take control with Prostate Revive. Call now while supplies last to claim your risk-free bottle at 1-800-596-REVIVE.
We're in the midst of an obesity epidemic, and I'm not surprised. The statistics on obesity mirror an increasing trend of eating out or ordering in. In fact, some people dine out every night, but eating in restaurants is one of the biggest enemies of your heart. When you're in a restaurant, you don't really know what you're getting, and the calorie counts of many restaurant dishes are astronomical. In fact, some single dishes contain more calories than we should eat in an entire day. Eating in fast food restaurants is even worse. A diet of hamburgers, French fries, and shakes constitutes a fast lane to the emergency room. If you really want to help your heart, get in the habit of cooking simple meals at home. Here are 3 easy tips that will make your food taste better than even the best restaurant. Choose the best fruit in season. Your local farmer's market is a great place to start. It will probably still cost less than that pie you were thinking of buying. Get in the habit of using fresh herbs. You can use them in egg white omelets or dust them on the fish you grill or bake. And for a light dessert, choose a square or 2 of dark chocolate that you and your spouse can enjoy. There are lots of ways to make your heart healthy, but there are also lots of ways to damage it. That's why I wrote Fix It, Dr. Crandall's 90-day program. In it, I'll tell you how to kickstart your metabolism every day, how to pick the best diet for you, how to stop hunger from sabotaging your diet, the 7 superfoods for your heart. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute.
Tabio.com/offer. Breaking news and breaking hearts. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.
First, if you're one of the more than 250 million Americans who already have health insurance, you will keep your health insurance. This law will only make it more secure and more affordable.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that set the tone for Bill O'Reilly as we welcome you back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Here, Bill O'Reilly weighs in on whether he thinks the president was being dishonest or not for all these years. By the way, he's talking now. Oh, my God, I can't wait to get this sound to you later or tomorrow. Well, you know, the people who are losing their policies now, a lot of them would have lost them anyway because insurance companies, sometimes they drop people after a year or they raise the prices. And then, you know, it's not good for you. So in other words, he's just totally ignoring that he lied for 3 years. And he's going on to, hey, it's a good thing that the insurance companies are dropping you because you'll get a better policy. Or, yeah, so people lose their insurance all the time. Well, you said they didn't have to and they wouldn't. They're dropping people not because insurance companies do it all the time, quote unquote. They're dropping people because now the policies people have had and liked, the ones Obama said if you like it, you could keep it, don't match up with the law. When he said your policy would be grandfathered in, meaning if it doesn't meet the requirements of the law, you could still keep it, was a lie. That's why they're dropping you. Yeah, they're dropping you, but they're dropping you because it's illegal for them to now offer these policies that you have had because they don't go far enough in giving you everything Obama says you must have. He is a liar. I'm not afraid to say it. He's a liar. Oh, somebody's heckling, huh? I wonder if this is staged. You know, someone's interrupting. Anyway, so here's Bill O'Reilly, cut 16.
Here's what I think happened. Mr. Obama brought little critical thinking to the table on Obamacare and pretty much talked himself into a scenario that he wanted. That is, that government can control the American health industry with little consumer downside. Now, I'm not making excuses for the president. His vision clearly has harmed many of us, and he will pay a steep political price for that. But at this point, I am not willing to say that he intentionally lied. The evidence says he simply did not want to know the truth, nor did he seek it. A little bit of a difference here. It's subtle.
With all due respect to Bill O'Reilly, who is wildly successful and is the king of cable TV, what evidence? What evidence points to the fact that the president was unintentionally lying, which is a strange choice of words, or, you know, not intentionally lying, that he just didn't know? You really think he didn't know what the policy requirements would be, or no matter what the policy requirements were, that millions of people going forward wouldn't have those in their current policies, and once the law kicked in, would be forced to be dumped by their insurance companies? How could he not know? You're saying he's a stupid man? Let's go to cut number 17.
Again, the question is, did President Obama know about the regulations and the language in the report? I don't believe he did because he didn't read it. He doesn't pay attention to details. Now, before you write me damning letters, what I'm saying is far more damaging than you think. If the President of the United States is not paying attention to details, this country's in huge trouble. As Talking Point said last night, and that memo was posted on BillO'Reilly.com, the President simply answers he doesn't know on far too many occasions. It's your job to know, Mr. President, and being ill-informed puts all of us in danger.
Absolutely. Bill O'Reilly is correct. On issue after issue after issue, the president claims he didn't know. He didn't know about the IRS scrutiny of the Tea Party groups and the conservative groups. He didn't know about Benghazi. He didn't know about anything. He knows about nothing. That's what he says. But why do you assume that it's always true? And why would you assume that it's true in this? He didn't just say this once. He said this hundreds of times over many years. Okay? He said this hundreds of times over many years. Okay? Not one staff member, not one advisor, not one department head, no one ever said to him, Mr. President, that's not really true. So by extension, then you also have to claim that they're all terrified of him. They're all terrified of a guy who is detached, uninterested, uninformed, doesn't want to be bothered. They're all scared to death after hearing this falsehood told over and over and over and over and over again. It's not like he get before the cameras and said, I didn't know about the IRS thing. I didn't know about Benghazi. It was a video. Goodbye. No, over for years. And so he didn't know what was in his signature legislation, which is designed, as he has stated in the past, that he favors a single-payer plan. So isn't it natural to assume that he would put something out there, the bill would contain the poison in it that would result in one day in people losing their insurance and forcing them into the exchanges? That's what he wants. That's what the Democrats on the far left wanted. It makes sense that he knew. It makes sense. It's far-fetched to believe that, again, that he did not know for all these years because he didn't care to look, and that no one ever told him that, hey, and it's a simple fact, you just required everyone to have a certain kind of insurance policy, a blanket insurance policy that includes 10 basic tenets, okay? 10 basic points that you must have, including maternity, even if you're 80 years old. Well, right then and there, that's going to kick everybody who doesn't have that in their policy off their current policy when the law takes effect. It's not hard for him to understand this one. It's not hard for him to be informed about this one. It's not hard for him to know that he's lying this time. Okay? And again, so you have to assume that he is really not smart, knows nothing about this bill. I mean, doesn't know about this, knows nothing. And in 3 years plus, not one person ever said to him, Mr. President, I don't think you're right about that, or you better check that, or should we check that? That's a real leap of faith on the part of Bill O'Reilly. I don't buy it. I respect Bill O'Reilly, but I don't buy this. Not for a minute. Sorry, but I don't have to buy it, do I? Okay, when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be joined by Heather McDonald. We'll talk about the mayor's race here in New York and what it might mean for New York City on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said the truth is stranger than fiction. The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Call Swiss America now for a free DVD. 800-818-3967.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, and you may be forced to watch helplessly as you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, all while your home's value is eradicated. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer believes we will soon stare down a secret crisis that will rival the Great Depression. It was Wiedemer's 2005 book, America's Bubble Economy, that warned of coming meltdowns in our housing and stock markets. Washington did not heed his call, and folks on Main Street lost $50 trillion from the recession. His New York Times best-selling book, Aftershock, predicted our federal debt and dollar would be the next bubbles to burst. And now, Robert Wiedemer has released a startling video with shocking evidence the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Join us at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
Larry works on the construction site when he's not held up with constipation. Mary sits all day at a desk, which does little to relieve gas and bloating. You can't schedule abdominal discomfort, but you can help alleviate it with Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic supplement that comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. It includes the most essential ingredients necessary to help support your healthy digestive and immune function. Experience the results. Learn how you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just visit Bactipro.com/offer. All you cover is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Do something about your digestive health now. Get your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/offer. That's BACTIPRO.com/offer. Limited time only. Bactipro.com/offer.
It is not a law firm or lawyer referral service.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show. No. This is This is not your typical Screamfest talk show. No. This is the
All right, let me look back to the show as I watch Barack Obama through the corner of my eye here, speaking in Boston, talking about illnesses. Guy had cancer, his wife had cancer. You know, the sob stories, which, you know, these stories designed to take the focus off the fact that you're losing your insurance if you're one of 15 million people. You were lied to for 3 years, and now you got to change insurance. You got to change doctors. You're probably going to have to pay more for insurance that you don't want. And now he's saying, you know, I don't think we should go back. And you're looking at these mind-numbed robots. I don't know anything about them, so I don't know if they're sick. God, I hope they're not. But standing behind him is, you know, human props as usual. Nobody fainted that I could see. But they're like nodding and smiling at him, staring dreamily at him, like, oh my, he's wonderful. It's sad. It's sad. All right, let me know when we have Heather. Okay, great. All right, folks, New York City is about to elect a new mayor, mainly because Mayor Bloomberg couldn't finagle his way into a fourth term. And the Democratic candidate has a 40 or so point lead over the Republican candidate. And this Democratic candidate, Bill de Blasio, is not only talking about two New Yorks, like two Americas, and separating and dividing by income and wealth and success, but he's also going to put the harness on the New York City Police Department. And I got to tell you, I work here every day in the city. I don't live here, but I fear, because I lived through David Dinkins and his administration. Joining us now to talk about all this is Heather McNulty, fellow at the Manhattan Institute and contributor to City Journal and the New York Post. Hello, Heather. How are you? Good to see you.
Thanks for having me on, Steve. I appreciate it.
It's always my pleasure. Okay, so you wrote a great piece, and you asked the question, you know, why are New Yorkers willing to risk the success of a crime drop in a safe city, you know, for the thrill of voting for a progressive mayor who has made attacking NYPD the centerpiece of his campaign, and you say it's got to be ignorance.
It is. I mean, obviously, there's also just pure juvenile adolescent politics of wanting to feel progressive and anti-establishment and soaking the rich. But I also think that New Yorkers are utterly oblivious to the extent of New York's amazing crime drop and its uniqueness in the country. There was a crime drop nationally in the 1990s, and the critics and skeptics about New York policing always try to conflate the national crime drop with New York's crime drop. What they ignore is that New York's crime drop was twice that of the national average and has lasted twice as long. The national crime drop basically petered out by 2000, and every criminologist predicted that New York's would as well. Murders had already gone down 72%, and there's a feeling they can't go any further. In fact, under Mayor Michael Bloomberg and Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, murders fell another 36% from 2001 to 2012, and all major felonies went down another 31%. This is a crime drop of unprecedented proportions, and it's due exclusively, the difference between the national and the New York crime drop is due exclusively to New York's policing.
Absolutely, and you point out not only the wrong, the downright false, comparisons between the national crime rate and the drop in crime in New York City, but you also talk about how there were predictions, that things would get worse when in fact they continue to get better under the Bloomberg Kelly regime.
Yeah, well, criminologists have always hated New York City because it was a piece of received wisdom that policing could not affect crime. The only way you could bring crime down was through big government welfare and redistribution programs, because crime was seen as a inevitable response to poverty and income inequality. And police commissioners themselves, until William Bratton came into the NYPD in 1994, said, yeah, we can't do anything about crime. That's for society to solve. But Bratton said, no, the police are going to do it, and we have the capacity to restore law and order, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, no, absolutely they did. Now, why don't you talk about what the 1-2 punch that New Yorkers are facing here, because we had the judge ruling against stop and frisk, or a great part of it anyway. We have the appointment of a federal monitor that's going to, reign over whoever the police commissioner is. And by the way, the police commissioner will not be Raymond Kelly, all indications are. So you have that combination, a new police commissioner, a mayor who doesn't want stop and frisk, a mayor who wants to rein in the police, and a federal government watching over the whole thing.
And, of course, an inspector general that the city council, in its utter just foolishness and self-involvement, created. So you have really three competing power sources now to disrupt what was an extraordinarily well-managed and efficient department. The inspector general, which will exist, and frankly, we're going to get the federal monitor, because there's very little chance that the Second Circuit would overturn Judge Shira Scheinlin's opinion, even if that appeal continued, and if de Blasio is elected, which is almost certain, unfortunately, he'll simply withdraw the appeal. So you have the federal monitor, and then ultimately you do have Judge Shira Scheinlin, whose opinion evinces an absolutely perfect and unclouded ignorance of policing and crime in New York.
I like that analogy. We're talking, or that label. We're talking to Heather McDonald, contributing editor of City Journal, and by the way, author of Are Cops Racist? Here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I just saw something the other day, a report that more and more homeless people are living and riding the New York City subway than they have in years and years, and it's attributable, at least in the piece that I saw, to the fact that cops, they're unsure about what they could do, what they can't do, how far they should go, so they're basically laying off. They don't want to be accused of violating someone's civil rights. They don't want to be accused of anything and hauled before, some kind of disciplinary action or a judge even. So they're just letting these people be, and the riders are scared, and it harkens way back to the Dinkins era.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of these claims in the next year or so, and it's always hard to know, at what point you can attribute cause and effect. And to be honest, I've heard people complain about a rise in homelessness in New York City for the last decade, and one should celebrate those concerns because there are few things that are more destructive to the vitality of cities than allowing drug addicts and vagrants who are down on their luck to colonize public spaces. If in New York City, of all places, where we have an absolute constitutional right to shelter, people should be obliged to use it rather than taking over spaces that people need to get to work and engage in the commerce that New York provides. So, whether this is a recent, whether the rise is real and whether it's attributed to the officers' understandable reluctance to make stops, I don't know. But I would say over the long haul, if in fact the police are way restrained from being able to make lawful, reasonable suspicion stops, you're going to get more crime, and you will get the deterrent effect of stops, which has now deterred many gangbangers from carrying guns on their person. That will eviscerate and will go back to a much, much higher crime city.
Yeah, and then let's take it back to where we started with the voters. I blame the voters, but I have to say, they voted for Rudy Giuliani twice. They voted for Bloomberg. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you when he was a Republican and when he was an independent and when he was a Democrat or whatever the heck he was. But now I just think Joe Lhota, who served in the Giuliani administration, has run basically an invisible campaign, a terrible campaign, because if he would go on show after show and hold press conference after press conference and go down to the subways and just, pose with the police commission, whatever it is, and just drum this point home that there's nothing more important than safety, and we're going to lose that, maybe it will be a 5 or 10 point race and not a 40-point race.
It's very disappointing, Steve. It just... I don't understand it, but it just shows that, political skills are not ubiquitous. Not everybody has them. And Lhota was a fabulous manager, and de Blasio has absolutely no management experience. He's just been a government hanger-on all his life. But Lhota did not run the best campaign. There's just no question. And the most shocking moment was in the first debate, when he was asked, would de Blasio jeopardize public safety in New York, rather than striking this low, slow-hanging pitch right out of the park, he waffled and said he didn't know. So he's obviously got a very cautious nature, and has not educated New Yorkers about the absolute fragility of our current situation and the fact that it could all go back again.
Yeah, and in fact, on other issues, like social issues, he's made it a point to stress that there's very little, if any, difference between himself and de Blasio. So I don't know who's advising him. I don't know if he has it in his belly. Apparently he doesn't, or it doesn't look like he does. Might be attributable to your analysis that, being a manager is one thing, being a candidate is another, but still in all, someone had to vet him out, and he did win a primary for whatever reason, and it's a shame. It really is a shame that this isn't a race about what the future of the city will be like, and for us people who work here, and for people who live here and do business here.
Well, I think we saw with Steve Lonegan running against Cory Booker the sheer power of belief. Whether or not one believes with everything Lonegan thought, he was absolutely fearless in articulating what are very stigmatized views in blue New Jersey, and yet he narrowed the gap because he was so passionate and unapologetic. And I think that Giuliani had that magic as well of being able to stand up to the received wisdom of New York, which celebrates a dependency culture, believes in big government, vilifies success, and thinks that government is the solution. And Giuliani would have none of that, and he was he was articulate and just driven to fight the received wisdom, and that's what this city needs, because you are running against a very, very large liberal elite, and Loda, unfortunately, has run a Me Too campaign to de Blasio. He basically accepts the conceit of there being two New York and says, well, I'm going to do it somewhat differently, but I agree that income inequality is the biggest problem facing this city. I strongly disagree with that, and in any case, if de Blasio is going to go around talking about two New Yorks, getting rid of the NYPD's crime-fighting capacity is going to accentuate the greatest rift between prosperous and less prosperous areas, which is public safety.
Absolutely. Heather, always great to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Take care. Heather McDonald, ladies and gentlemen, fellow at the Manhattan Institute, contributor to City Journal and to the New York Post, and just a brilliant, brilliant woman. And her analysis is always right on target. Also, her book, Are Cops Racist? Here on the Steve Malzberg Show. And we are here, of course, on Newsmax TV and radio, 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. Love to hear from you.
The Steve.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com. I
used to sleep like a baby. Now I have to get up in the middle of the night just to go to the bathroom. And not just once.
Men, if you suffer from frequent urination, the inability to empty your bladder, a hesitant urine stream, or leaking due to an aging prostate, listen to this. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes this does not need to be an inevitable part of aging. After extensive research, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. For complete details, visit prostaterevive.com/offer. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. Learn how you can try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/offer. Hurry, limited time offer. That's prostaterevive.com/offer.
Hi,
855-500-DIABETES.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. Folks ask me, what would Ronald Reagan do if he were with us today? I believe the first thing he'd do is stop Obamacare. Already it's in effect with higher taxes, hidden fees, skyrocketing insurance rates, big Medicare cuts, and some insurance plans are hit with a 40% tax. Protect yourself by getting the Obamacare Survival Guide. It's already a #1 New York Times bestseller. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law, giving you the strategies, tips, and loopholes you need to know. If you're insured on Medicare, a business owner, a medical professional, just about anyone, you need this book.
Get the #1 bestseller, The Obamacare Survival Guide, at bookstores everywhere. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
150 million people suffer from headaches. All you want is for the pounding in your head to stop.
Migralex stops the pounding. Migralex was developed by a neurologist and founder of the New York Headache Center.
I'm neurologist Dr. Alex Malzberg. After studying and researching the human brain for 25 years, I've developed Migralex, which eliminates pounding headaches. It works for my patients, and I'm so convinced it will work for you. I don't just guarantee it, I put my name on it.
Dr. Malzberg's Migralex gets rid of headaches fast without harsh caffeine, sodium, or preservatives.
Migralex works unbelievably fast, and it's gentle on my stomach.
Find out how to get your free bottle of Migralex. Call 800-532-2967. Plus, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you'll also receive the Migralex Quick Tips to Headache Relief absolutely free. That's 800-532-2967. Or go to migralexrelief.com. MIGRALEX relief.com. Or call 800-532-2967.
Here's today's silver shortage update from Lear Capital.
Reports keep coming, the shortage is growing. Twice already this year, the U.S. Mint has run out. Last time this happened, the silver price jumped 40%. It's time to take advantage with this special offer from Lear Capital.
For a limited time, buy 20 new silver polar bear coins and get one free. The only 1.5 ounce coin on the market. It's minted with the finest silver, carries a government guarantee, and is eligible for IRAs. The silver polar bear is available exclusively from Lear Capital. But don't wait. Silver supplies are shrinking and availability is not guaranteed. This offer is limited to a minimum purchase of $5,000. Call right now. 800-634-0482. 800-634-0482. Call Lear Capital now. 800-634-0482.
The Steve Malzberg Show is just a bit different from the other radio shows. We have TV cameras. Watch the show at Newsmax.com or listen on your favorite radio station. Here's Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back. Steve Malzberg as we approach the top of the hour, hour number 2. Getting ready to put that in the books, and we'll have 1 hour to go. In that next hour, Charles Hurt will join us. It's Wednesday, so top of the third hour. It's Charles Hurt, Washington Times. And then Mickey Koss, contributor to the Daily Caller. And we'll talk some immigration and where the Republicans stand on that. And your phone calls, 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. Let's go to Dave down in Florida. Hello. I'm sorry, Doug. Must be his brother. Hello, Doug.
Hello, yes.
You're on the Steve Malzberg Show. Thanks for calling.
First of all, welcome to South Florida. We love listening to you down here. There's a lot more people that listen to you than care to admit it.
Well, really? You might I want to explore that. You mean you've been asking people if they listen to me, and you know they do, and secretly they love me, but they will not admit that they love me?
Yep.
Why? Why? I say, why?
They're closet conservatives.
Closet Malzberg conservatives. Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
they're closet conservatives.
Closet Malzberg conservatives. Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, I called because I was actually a medical student in New York City from 1985 to 89. And there is an unwritten rule in that city that you don't touch the people in the white coats and the scrubs because you might need us someday, you know. And I was actually mugged twice in 4 years living in that 4-block area near Bellevue.
Wow.
And that was while wearing my white coat walking to work. And it was once outside the original Citibank ATM. I think it was one of the first ones to exist back in like '86. And I don't think people realize how rampant you could walk down any street within a 4-block area where I was and get whatever drugs you wanted to. The projects were just absolutely just pits of dens of iniquity. There were rent-controlled apartments. And it was horrible, and I don't think that they understand what will happen when they rein in the police. And, you know, I've never looked at them as my enemy. If I'm in a bad place doing a bad thing, if I'm up above 125th Street in a nice car, and a cop stops me and says, "What are you doing?" What do you think I'm doing up there? That's not profiling. How many lives have they saved by telling?
Well, not only that. Wait, let me give you another example of quote unquote profiling. The cops used to in those days. Look in Washington Heights for cars with Jersey license plates that would come over the George Washington Bridge, go to certain streets on Washington Heights, and know that these people were going to buy drugs. And they were, for the most part, suburbanites, white people, but they were profiled because that's what police do. They profile. That's what police do. So, I mean, this whole nonsense about profiling, it's just ridiculous.
Okay, well, two other quick comments, and like I said, I love your show.
Thank you.
Number one, why was that woman in Washington testifying? The Stand Your Ground law had nothing to do with her son getting killed.
Wait. You're talking about Trayvon Martin's mom. It's funny you mentioned that. In the next hour.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy. Get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere, or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm Kathleen Walter. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius is on the hot seat today over the bungled launch of the healthcare.gov website. Sebelius is testifying before the House Energy and Commerce Committee today. In a Newsmax exclusive, syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer predicts Obamacare could fail.
If Obamacare fails, I think that would set back the liberal project of the inexorable expansion of the welfare state till it reaches the contours of the European social democratic entitlement state. It would set back that project by a generation.
President Obama is promoting his health care plan during a speech in Boston today. The National Intelligence Director told Congress that spying on heads of state isn't an uncommon practice. James Clapper testified that the U.S. tries to find out what other world leaders are doing, just as other nations try to spy on American officials.
It's one of the first things I learned in Intel school in 1963.
To be perfectly clear, this is not information that we collected on European citizens. It represents information that we and our NATO allies have collected in defense of our countries and in support of military operations.
Congressional negotiators will attempt to do something they haven't been able to accomplish in the last 4 years, find a compromise on a budget. House and Senate negotiators will sit down today for the first formal negotiations to find a budget deal before the temporary budget expires January 15th. Battles over what to include or not to include in the budget helped lead to the government shutdown earlier this month. Egyptian security forces have arrested a key Muslim Brotherhood figure who'd been on the run since the July coup that ousted the country's Islamist president. The Interior Ministry is reporting the arrest of Assam El Arian, the deputy leader of the Brotherhood's Freedom and Justice Party. His arrest was the latest in a wide-ranging crackdown and prosecution of the Islamist group's leaders since the ouster of President Mohamed Morsi. In Australia, one man's fishtail was caught on tape. This was the scene off the coast of Cairns in far north Queensland, Australia. Bill McDonald was reeling in a 380-pound marlin when the fish darts into the boat, thrashes around, and chases a deckhand who goes overboard into shark-infested waters. The humans on board were just fine, and the video of the ordeal has gone viral on the web. The World Series returns to Boston tonight. The Red Sox lead the Cardinals 3-2. Tonight's game starts at 8:07 Eastern Standard Time at Fenway Park. Coming up next, Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson says he's prepared to sue the Obama administration. He'll explain why in a Newsmax exclusive. Plus, a surfer rides what's being hailed as the biggest wave ever ridden right into the record books.
Larry works on the construction site when he's not held up with constipation. Mary sits all day at a desk, which does little to relieve gas and bloating. You can't schedule abdominal discomfort, but you can help alleviate it with Back2Pro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Back2Pro is the fiber probiotic supplement that comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. It includes the most essential ingredients necessary to help support your healthy digestive and immune function. Experience the results. Learn how you can receive a 30-day supply of Back2Pro. Just visit Back2Pro.com/offer. All you cover is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Do something about your digestive health now. Get your 30-day supply at Back2Pro.com/offer. That's BACTIPRO.com/offer. Limited time only. Back2Pro.com/offer.
Obamacare. President Obama's massive healthcare law is taking effect this year. With over 15,000 pages of regulations, few even know what it means. Now, the Obamacare Survival Guide by Nick Tate gives you the shocking facts about this law. It's a step-by-step guide on how you can protect yourself. Already a New York Times bestseller, every American needs to get the Obamacare Survival Guide and find out about the new taxes, hidden fees, fines, Medicare changes, business rules, and why doctor shortages are likely. Donald Trump says the Obamacare Survival Guide is a must-read for anyone worried about getting good health care for themselves or their employees. So get the Obamacare Survival Guide. It's at bookstores, or get our special offer at Obamacare311.com. Care Survival Guide. It's at bookstores, or get our special offer at Obamacare311.com. Care311.com.
And welcome back. In a Newsmax exclusive, Senator Ron Johnson tells Newsmax he is prepared to sue the lawless Obama administration over its decision to grant members of Congress and their staff special treatment under Obamacare.
I really do intend to pursue a lawsuit to overturn another unlawful ruling by the Office of Personnel Management that grants members of Congress and their staff special treatment under Obamacare. I think the president had no legal authority to initiate that ruling.
Brazilian surfer Carlos Burley may have ridden the biggest wave of all time. This is video that caught Burley setting a new big wave record in Portugal while riding a giant wave estimated at 100 feet tall. Burley surfed the wave moments after helping to rescue a fellow surfer who almost drowned. And remember, for more exclusive interviews and content, stay with Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter, and this has been your Newsmax Now update for October 30th. Take care.
Judging from everything you hear,
you think all cholesterol is bad, but that's not really true. You need a certain amount of cholesterol to maintain good health. The problem is that too much cholesterol in your blood contributes to a plaque, a fatty substance that narrows the coronary arteries that feed blood flow to your heart. Picture your coronary arteries as a 4-lane highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major problem. But if a 3rd lane becomes blocked, that spells trouble. It's the same way with your coronary arteries. And when plaque slows their blood flow to your heart, this can even cause a heart attack. The good news is that when it comes to cholesterol, lifestyle changes can pay off big time. Even a small reduction in plaque can be like opening up another highway lane. Suddenly, blood flow that was stalled can go forward again. Changing your lifestyle does not have to be hard. And in fact, here are 3 ways to help you start lowering your cholesterol. Snack on nuts. Nuts are probably one of the easiest and tastiest ways to lower cholesterol. Walnuts and almonds are among the best. Bulk up your diet with fiber. Choose whole fruits instead of a fruit juice, brown rice instead of white, and if you're eating a baked potato, be sure to leave the skin on. Choose fish. Fish contains cholesterol-fighting omega-3 fatty acids. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. Top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is Lignet? Lignet is confidential. Lignet is sensitive. Lignet is security. What is Lignet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on Lignet.com. You've been briefed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios. This is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Look out, Lou! Look out, Lou! He was the punk poet of rock and roll, leader of the Velvet Underground, and a musician who's had a profound influence on generations of recording artists. Lou Reed has died in Southampton, New York. His literary agent says Reed died of an ailment related to his recent liver transplant. He says Reed had been in frail health for months. Reed was never a rock superstar, but after Bob Dylan, no one could match the way he so radically expanded the territory of rock lyrics. Reed and the Velvet Underground basically kicked off indie rock in the 1960s. He took rock to the avant-garde, experimental theater, art, literature, film, and to people like William Burroughs and Andy Warhol, Reed's early patrons.
As far as I'm concerned, I want to thank Andy Warhol.
Okay, thanking Andy Warhol. I could sing a little, "Hey, babe, take a walk on the wild side." And I guess the man who used to do that from time to time was our next guest, because imagine my surprise when I picked up today's column from our guest, Charles Hurt, columnist for the Washington Times, and it's Lou Reed, a voice wanting to get free. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Steve. So you're an old fan as well?
Well, to be honest with you, I only know that one song.
But it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. I can't repeat one of the lyrics, but maybe a couple of the lyrics I can't repeat these days, which also tells a story, I guess. But one about, well, anyway, the what he calls the girls who sing,
yeah,
and the other one about the sex act he talks about in the song. But so tell us about your your relationship from afar, I would assume, with Lou Reed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of amazing that, as you know, I grew up in a small town in Southern Virginia, and I remember from, I was probably 8 or 10, something like that, when I probably heard my first Lou Reed song, and it was electrifying, and it stuck with you. And what I think is so interesting about it is, and I was a fan, and I'm not in favor of heroin. I think it's these things are terrible and destructive. But what his songs, I think, were about, they were about that very rebellious and defiant demand for freedom. And obviously, the young people, especially associated with rock and roll music, they're reckless and they do foolish things and they do things that are not sustainable through life. But it is a spirit, and it was obviously a spirit that spoke to a lot of people who were living in communism at the time, back when liberals were worried about authoritarian governments and were worried about big government taking away your liberties, as opposed to today, where they all like to make fun of anyone who is suspicious of the government.
Right.
But these were all great old liberals, and my gosh, where are they? I wish we still had them around. We need them now.
Well, yeah, obviously, I've often said, and I think you would agree, in a different definition maybe, but I don't think JFK would be accepted into the Democratic Party this year. I mean, in this time.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's sort of this weird thing where, when I look back to what it was like to hear the stories of people escaping from communism, and socialism, and all of the terrible things that go along with a government that will provide you everything and can give you everything. The stories that they told, longing for freedom, we don't hear those stories anymore because the Soviet Union fell, and we just tend not to hear those stories as much. And I think it's doing a lot of damage to us today. And we sit and have this incomprehensible hearings today with Kathleen Sebelius, and it's just, what this government is now promising us in terms of absolutely everything, and knowing all of our information and knowing where we are at all times. It's terrifying, and there's nobody, on the left who's standing up and saying, wait a minute, this is not what we're about. This is not what liberalism stands for.
And what is that reason? Why is that? You talk to people who have come here from other countries, like you said, and I have been privileged over the years to be honored by the Cuban American Association here in part of New Jersey, and also callers to my shows and people that I know in my community from Russia, from Cuba, from other countries, and they all say, why don't people understand what's happening here? This is what we ran away from.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, is it because history seems to be the last thing that is taught in schools today, or maybe there's so much information out there that people choose to read things that are just not just distortions of history. I thought there was a fascinating and surprising study done by some university professor. I think it was at Yale or something like this a week or so ago, when he did a study and found out that people associated with the Tea Party, who associate themselves with the Tea Party, are more knowledgeable about history. And it's like, and this professor, of course, was shocked by this, stunned by this, but nonetheless still maintained a low regard for Tea Party people. But it's like, well, maybe it's because they actually remembered their history or studied it in the first place, and they, and they took, they heeded the warning that, if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. And my goodness, I wake up some mornings and I feel like we're determined to repeat it.
Absolutely. I want you to hear. Probably all Kathleen Sebelius needed was some chewing gum and pigtails, and she would have fit right in, with the whatever comment. Here's her. This is the end of her exchange with Congressman Greg Harper, who we had on the show at the beginning of the show. He made some interesting comments, but here's what their exchange sounded like at the end, cut 37.
It is the president's ultimate responsibility, correct?
You clearly whatever. Yes, he is the president. He is responsible for government programs.
My time is expired.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Whatever. I mean, you know what that took me right back to Hillary with what difference does it make?
I thought the exact same thing when she said it. But my goodness, the other thing, and I would say Republicans in Congress are equally to blame for this because because they failed in their oversight roles in a lot of ways during the Bush administration. But my goodness, how is it possible that an unelected, appointed and obviously confirmed, but an unelected cabinet official serving in the administration whose salary is paid at the behest of Congress could sit there and speak so dismissively and dismiss the real question that a lot of Americans have about this. It's just shocking to me, and it suggests that this very carefully calibrated balance of powers is severely out of whack. And then to have them begging her, we would if we could just fit you into if we could just fit into your schedule and have you come back again. Are you kidding me? This is the congressional oversight on how our money is spent, on how these people apply laws to us, and she's sitting there going, "Oh, whatever." And these people are literally, she got beaten up by maybe two people.
I know. It was outrageous. Listen, could you we have a hard break now, a new clock. Could you stay another segment?
Yes.
Okay, great. Charles Hurt will stay with us because I want to talk to him more about what was said at that hearing, what was not said at the hearing. And then I love this. On the Drudge Report, there's a story. I missed this. I watched Charlie Rose's interview with Dick Cheney, but this part got by me, I guess, where he asked him, if you had more oxygen going to your brain, picking up right where Sanjay Gupta left off, would you have made better decisions? I want you to hear the question I would like to have asked, and to whom I would like to have it asked to. When we come back, all that with Charles Hurt right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. Don't you dare go away.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Are you at least 62 years old?
Judging from everything you hear, you think all cholesterol is bad, but that's not really true. You need a certain amount of cholesterol to maintain good health. The problem is that too much cholesterol in your blood contributes to a plaque, a fatty substance that narrows the coronary arteries that feed blood flow to your heart. Picture your coronary arteries as a 4-lane highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major problem. But if a 3rd lane becomes blocked, that spells trouble. It's the same way with your coronary arteries. And when plaque slows their blood flow to your heart, this can even cause a heart attack. The good news is that when it comes to cholesterol, lifestyle changes can pay off big time. Even a small reduction in plaque can be like opening up another highway lane. Suddenly, blood flow that was stalled can go forward again. Changing your lifestyle does not have to be hard. And in fact, here are 3 ways to help you start lowering your cholesterol. Snack on nuts. Nuts are probably one of the easiest and tastiest ways to lower cholesterol. Walnuts and almonds are among the best. Bulk up your diet with fiber. Choose whole fruits instead of a fruit juice, brown rice instead of white, and if you're eating a baked potato, be sure to leave the skin on. Choose fish. Fish contains cholesterol-fighting omega-3 fatty acids. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
Heart disease is the biggest killer disease in America, and this doesn't surprise me. We are addicted to starches, sugars, fatty meats, and salt. People who live in countries with little heart disease eat very differently. One way some people stay heart healthy is by following what is known as the caveman or Stonehenge diet, so named because of its similarity to the way our prehistoric ancestors ate. People who follow this type of diet live off local fruits and root vegetables and get their protein mostly from fish and wild game they shoot themselves. Now, since most of us don't hunt or fish for all our protein, here are some simple tips on how you can start to eat like a caveman.
Magazine every month.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Would you provide us with the number of people who have been able to enroll on the telephone? The president gave an 800 number during his speech. Could we get a number of people who've enrolled on the telephone?
No, sir. We do not have reliable enrollment data. We will have that to you by the middle of November, as we committed to. We are collecting state data. We are collecting telephone data. We are collecting paper data. We are collecting website data. We want it to be reliable and accountable, and that's
reclaiming
what
my time. Telephone data doesn't seem like it'd be that difficult to compile, since the number is likely quite low.
But she's data. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Charles Hurt was kind enough to stay through the break. Charles, we instituted these hard breaks so that we make sure we get all the commercials in so we can afford to pay your huge contributor salary.
I'm so grateful for it.
Yes. But anyway, Charles, the great Charles Hurt from the Washington Times. So, I mean, it's just, I mean, it is insane. And now Obama out today in Boston, and now the mantra has gone from, if you like your insurance, you could keep it, to, well, if you lose your insurance, you can get better insurance. And without a blink, without any egg on his face, without knowing that. I heard Bill O'Reilly, and I took him to task earlier today. Not he wasn't on, but I mean, I did take him to task. And Bill O'Reilly said that, and he's the only one I've heard say this, Democrat or Republican, really, in the media, that I don't think he purposely lied or misled. He probably didn't know. Come on, in 3 years, hundreds of times, the same thing over and over. No one ever said to him, Mr. President, not once, I don't think that's right. Come on.
But even if he didn't know, even if it was accidental, it's the stunning arrogance of actually thinking that you don't have to think through something like this.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think I think that they very purposefully hid all of the pain and totally deceived the American people, and it's why President Obama waited until after his reelection to do this, and it's why they pushed it back again after Democrats in Congress got all worried about it, and they pushed it past the 2012. If this were going on in 2012 or 2011, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It would be, Harry Reid would be gone, as would Nancy Pelosi.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I just, listening to her speak throughout that entire testimony, it was, you couldn't even believe that somebody was actually making some of these claims, and it's clear that I don't think that these people are capable of shame.
Charles, she said the website has never gone down. At the very same time, if you went to the website, it said excuse us, we are down. I mean, you can't make it up.
Yeah, no, it's truly incredible. And then that line where in one of the few times where a Republican really laid into her and was asking her to sign up.
It would be against the law.
I don't know what she's talking about.
She said
there.
she has the same coverage that Congress has, as you heard her say, and that it would be. She thinks it would be against the law for her to drop her coverage and sign up. Really?
And if it is against the law, it's because she very specifically wrote the law so that it would be against the law for her to do it, because she doesn't want to have anything to do with this stuff. Her health care is too important, and that's what I think is going to this is there's no one who's not going to be affected by this who votes. And I think that this thing is going to turn out, and forget all the glitches and the little problems and stuff. It's the big stuff. It's the big systemic stuff where they're simply not going to be able to provide Americans with decent health care the way because it's a top-down, one-size-fits-all, government knows best scheme.
Right. You got to give senior citizens have to be insured for maternity.
Yeah, and it's this as you meant. And it's this strange thing where, I really do think that they are sort of in this cocoon. They tell themselves, "Oh, we're helping the poor people by giving everybody insurance." Well, and then of course at the same time accusing Republicans of not wanting people to be insured, which is of course just.
Well, here's the thing, Charles. Here's what they see. The Republicans by now the House should have passed by now. Here's one page. You could keep the kids on your health care plan until they're 90. You could close the donut hole. You could no pre-existing conditions and whatever one or two other things that they keep touting that all Americans are benefiting from. Pass that now and say, here's our health care bill. The other crap out the window. But why don't they even do that? But I want to move on because we're running out of time. So Charlie Rose says to Dick Cheney, after Cheney was, in my view, treated like crap by Sanjay Gupta, you depressed?
I don't know why they agreed to do that interview.
I don't either. But anyway, so Charlie Rose says if you had more oxygen going to your brain, would you make better decisions? Based on the premise that Gupta put forth on 60 Minutes to Cheney, that with all your heart problems, you had less oxygen going to the brain. Were you depressed? Were you impaired? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, I got a question for Gupta and Rose to ask President Obama. Hey, all those years you were rolled up with the windows rolled up in that van, smoking pot and doing drugs.
Do you think?
Yeah. Do you think that you're impaired in your decision making? And would you have been better if you had more oxygen flowing to your brain?
I think it's a perfectly fair question, and President Obama is still in charge too, so
right.
It's even more pertinent.
It makes me sick. It really does. It's just insane.
But these people, they can't resist the opportunity to. And it's a very uninteresting and sort of just a kind of a cliche almost to sort of attack Dick Cheney for all this stuff. But the bottom line is he was very much in the grip of fighting the war on terror, and whatever your opinion about all that stuff is, and the lengths that we went to in order to prosecute that war, just about everything has been left in place by the current president.
Right.
He's doing all the exact same stuff.
Absolutely.
So if you want to talk about how, Dick Cheney is Darth Vader and all this kind of stuff, well, President Obama put on the exact same Darth Vader outfit as soon as he became president.
And Charles, I'm also waiting, and we got to go, and I'm also waiting for Gupta when Hillary runs to ask her about her hits to the head and her passing out and all that kind of stuff, and if she has enough oxygen going to her brain. Hey.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I know. Well, then I won't have oxygen going to my brain.
It'll be
Charles, a lot of fun. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
Charles Hurt, ladies and gentlemen, Washington Times. Oh, boy. Here on the Steve Malzberg Show. And we are coming back, and we're going to be joined by Mickey Koss, contributor to the Daily Caller. We'll talk some immigration reform on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg
If your prostate is giving you problems and your doc says it's just part of getting older, be wary. Renowned physician and author Dr. David Brownstein thinks this is baloney. He's discovered a link between aging and prostate health and believes prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. That's why he created Prostate Revive.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Brownstein. I personally formulated Prostate Revive to include the most essential natural ingredients available to help promote a healthy prostate gland and optimal urinary function.
The producers of Dr. Brownstein's Prostate Revive are so thrilled with the positive feedback from satisfied customers that for a limited time, they are willing to send you your first month's supply free. Plus, call now and you'll also receive Dr. Brownstein's special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. For details on getting your free bottle, call 1-800-596-REVIVE. That's 1-800-596-REVIVE. Take control with Prostate Revive. Call now while supplies last to claim your risk-free bottle at 1-800-596-REVIVE.
Judging from everything you hear, you think all cholesterol is bad, but that's not really true. You need a certain amount of cholesterol to maintain good health. The problem is that too much cholesterol in your blood contributes to a plaque, a fatty substance that narrows the coronary arteries that feed blood flow to your heart. Picture your coronary arteries as a 4-lane highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major problem. Highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major arteries. And when plaque slows their blood flow to your heart, this can even cause a heart attack. The good news is that when it comes to cholesterol, lifestyle changes can pay off big time. Even a small reduction in plaque can be like opening up another highway lane. Suddenly, blood flow that was stalled can go forward again. Changing your lifestyle does not have to be hard. And in fact, here are 3 ways to help you start lowering your cholesterol. Snack on nuts. Nuts are probably one of the easiest and tastiest ways to lower cholesterol. Walnuts and almonds are among the best. Bulk up your diet with fiber. Choose whole fruits instead of a fruit juice, brown rice instead of white, and if you're eating a baked potato, be sure to leave the skin on. Choose fish. Fish contains cholesterol-fighting omega-3 fatty acids. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
If you are successful at what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, or you have a great career, you understand the concept of protecting yourself. Well, are you protecting yourself, your family, and your assets with quality term life insurance? Consider these possible rates. A man age 45 non-tobacco user could obtain $1 million of coverage for as little as $75 a month, and this rate is fixed for the next 10 years. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. A man age 50 non-tobacco user may be able to obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $115 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 20 years. We have great rates for smokers too. Call the Term Lifeline now. 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309.
800-613-3159.
Microphones hot. Satellite link established. Studio lights illuminated. Cameras rolling. Audio and video encoders firing ones and zeros. Internet stream is streaming. The most technology advanced radio show is on the air. Here's the captain of this enterprise, Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, we're back on the Steve Malzberg Show, and pardon me, I have to laugh because earlier we heard Kathleen Sebelius, when pressed, say that she takes full responsibility for the website failure. By the way, this is not about the website failure anymore, but just letting you know what took place today. Then Obama speaks in Boston, And while he was changing from if you like your health care insurance, you could keep it, to if you lose it, you could get a better one, he said, I take full responsibility. And now, CNN, this just in, Joe Biden, he's now apologizing for the Obamacare website. So, yeah, it's a full court press now. It's Apology Day, apparently, in Washington, D.C. And now CNN put Sanjay Gupta on to let us know all the good in the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, once again, for the 18th time since noon. I tell you, you can't make this stuff up. Joining us now, as we welcome in, is Mickey Cowes, and he is a contributor to the Daily Caller. Hey, Mickey, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good. It's a. I don't know what they're doing out there in Washington, but you were witness, I guess, to the Sebelius fiasco.
I've only seen little clips on the web. I know she said, "Why are you doing this to me?"
And she, wait, why are you doing this to me? Actually, we have that. It's hard to hear. Cut 44, Will, and if you could pump it all the way up. She turned to her. This was her, one of her advisors or attorneys or assistants, and as she's turning, he's whispered something, and as she's turning back, she says no, and then she says, why are you doing this to me? Here it is.
Madam Secretary.
Don't do this to me.
Nah, it's hard to hear, but she said, why are you doing this to me? Here it is.
Madam Secretary.
Don't do this to me.
Nah, it's hard to hear, but she said, why are you doing this to me? And being ultimately responsible, she said, whatever.
Yeah. Somebody said that's comparable to Hillary Clinton saying,
yes,
what does it matter?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
The whole purpose of having what does it matter?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
The whole purpose of having mind meld with, as supposedly Obama does with Sebelius, that sort of defeats the purpose. It doesn't. The responsibility is on both of them. And I'm a supporter of Obamacare, and this has been certainly worse than I had hoped, and I'm hoping they can get through it. But when I read the articles by friends of Obamacare who I trust in the press, like Jonathan Cohen of the New Republic, I don't feel really confident. When they're honest about it, there's a whole bunch of really perilous points ahead, and you wouldn't want to bet a lot of money on it making it all the way through.
Well, I could only hope it fails. Yeah, I had the best health care coverage in the world as a member of AFTRA for 25 years. I'm no longer in AFTRA, and I heard today that the unions, their plans are protected. And so they're not worried about that. So that means all the people you see on CNN, MSNBC, and all the other places, if they're on air, for the most part, they're under the AFTRA health care if they want to be, and they're not affected by any of this. And then when Kathleen Sebelius was asked today, what would you please, would you join? Are you enrolled in Obamacare? And she said, oh no, I get the congressional, health care. And they said, well, why don't you just dump it and enroll in Obamacare? She said, I think that would be against the law. I mean, you can't make this up. I can't believe what I'm seeing and hearing.
I think the new line is that she qualifies for Medicare, although you think she would have said that if she was 65.
Well, I don't know, but maybe. But she doesn't even know then, apparently.
She should know how old she is.
Gee whiz. All right, so let's move on to immigration. I know you don't have a lot of time, Mickey, and we'll have you back when you do have some more. So when you got to go, let me know. You wrote a piece pointing out the other day that Marco Rubio has backed off. He doesn't want the bill in the Senate that he was a part of on immigration reform to be passed in the House. He wants to do it piecemeal. Is he doing this because he realizes that basically it's amnesty or will be viewed as amnesty, and that's not going to look good for 016?
He's doing it because he's getting killed in the polls among Republican primary voters. The closer you get to the voters, the less popular so-called immigration reform is. And Rubio didn't just say he'd prefer to do it piecemeal, which is what the amnesty proponents are trying to do now. They're trying to pass all the pieces separately. But he said one of the pieces he doesn't think there's a consensus on is the amnesty part, the legalization of 11 million illegals who are already here. So he's basically bailed on his plan. And that, I think, overshadows, it happened the same week that all these corporate executives flew to Washington to demand immigration reform.
Right.
Evangelicals. And I think it sort of took the wind out of the sails of that effort. They're trying to roll out individual Republicans day by day. There's one more, Republican from the agricultural districts of California who endorses the Democratic immigration bill. So far, they're up to 3. But I think Rubio's sort of the canary in the coal mine of what happens to Republicans if they endorse it is a stronger example. So I don't think this was a good week for them.
Yeah, okay. I hope you're right, because I just don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what Republicans don't understand, in my view, about this disaster called immigration reform.
All the money is for amnesty.
Yeah,
so all the business money plus all the whatever money the Democratic Party gets is pushing for this. So that's the explanation. These guys all have to run. They all want campaign contributions. But the best explanation for why it's not going to happen is that they're just dragging their feet and milking the corporations for all the money they can get, and then they won't give it to them.
Well,
so they're taking them for a ride.
Yeah.
That's what I hope is happening, but you never know. I mean, Boehner, nobody knows what he's going to do, and if he decides to violate the Hastert rule and bring a bill to the floor, it'll probably pass, and then we'll have an amnesty.
Oh, it'll pass. Like you said, they just need a few more Republicans to get it done. And Boehner has indicated that he would like to get it done. Why you would give this president anything? No one that once it's passed. And here's the main thing. Besides putting all these people, eventually on health care, which is going to be a disaster to begin with. Jobs, high-skilled jobs, low-skilled jobs. We already have people who can't find jobs as it is. The 30 million voters who will wind up voting Democrat for the rest of their lives anyway. None of it makes any sense whatsoever. And the Republicans seem, because no matter how far they go, Mickey, no matter what passes, the Democrats will then immediately in the next election or before that take to the podium, and the president will too, and say, look, we tried to get the gay partners of immigrants here, but the evil Republicans wouldn't let them. And we tried to get this and this, but the evil Republicans wouldn't let them. So from a public relations standpoint, or appealing to Latino vote, they're back where they started from after they gave in on 90% of the things. They'll be nowhere.
Well, exactly. They don't even have to go as far as the gay partners. I mean, the most likely bill that would pass is one that stops short of citizenship. So all the Democrats have to do is say, the Republicans don't think you're good enough to be full-fledged citizens. Right. You're in this second class. They call it Juan Crow status.
Oh gosh, do they really? They call it Juan Crow?
Yeah, they already have a name for it.
Oh my gosh.
Democrats are specialists at this. This is what they're good at. You're giving them one right in their wheelhouse when you give them an issue like this, and they'll gin up the Latino vote for themselves just as they had previously.
Well, to me, that's like Jesse Jackson and the others calling Trayvon Martin's death Emmett Till. I mean, that's just so it just diminishes Jim Crow and what it means and all that. Hey, Mickey, I'm going to let you go, but we'll have you back soon, and I thank you for coming on, sir.
Great, thank you.
All right, take care. That's Mickey Cowles. He's a contributor to the Daily Caller here on the Steve Malzberg Show. All right, you know what? I want to do a bunch of things in the remaining time. First of all, you're welcome to weigh in. If you disagree with me, take me to task. Now, I keep saying take me to task because the control room, they love when I say take me to task. Now, what I'm thinking of doing here is, Newsmax TV, Steve Malzberg, and then on the back, take me to task. Something like that. Caps, shirts, T-shirts, socks, wristbands, sweatbands, whatever you want. We'll have it one day, hopefully. But 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. That is the number. I want to eventually, and I guess we could start this now and just carry it through. I want you to hear from our great catalog of sound bites. Something that took place yesterday, and this was at a Senate hearing. I think the Judiciary Committee hearing on stand your ground laws. Okay, and Ted Cruz, the most hated man in America, came face to face with the mother of Trayvon Martin, and the most hated man in America, actually, of course, was very, very respectful to Sabrina Fulton. And I want you to listen to cut 18. And here's how before he said what he said about stand your ground, here's what he said to her.
Every parent understands the mourning you are feeling. And it is always a tragedy when a child loses his life. And please know that we are all feeling your loss and express our very sincerest condolences.
Okay, so that's how we started. And as I said, I'm not surprised. I mean, the man has a family. The man is a human being. The man happens to be so incredibly intelligent and well-spoken and businesslike and seasoned. And that's, and the media hates him because he's also, he also has, Hispanic roots. So that just makes them hate him even more than if he were an old white guy. They went after Marco Rubio because he did this, because he took a bottle of water when he was giving that speech, and he did this. He went, and now Marco Rubio's a buffoon because he took a drink of water, according to the media. Forget Marco Rubio's wonderful story of his parents and how he came here. None of that matters. Steve Lonigan, who ran against Cory Booker, as I digress for a second, Steve Lonigan is legally blind. And I mean, he's blind to the point where when you approach him, he has a guy with him who says, it's Steve Malzberg. If you don't say hello first and he recognizes your voice, he can't see. Everything's off the top of his head. Every fact, every debate point, everything. He was raised by a single mother. He started a hugely successful business. None of that gets out. None of that. Tea Party, blah, blah, because they don't care about these kinds of stories. Especially, so Steve Lonigan is, disabled, visually disabled. Doesn't matter. Sarah Palin was a woman. They hated her. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, doesn't matter. Clarence Thomas, I go down the list. Minorities don't count to these liberals because they're not liberal minorities. As one of the heads of NOW, National Organization of Women, said when Sarah Palin was chosen by John McCain in 2008, she might as well be a white male. See, white male is the epitome of evil. And if you're a woman and a conservative, or a black and a conservative, Hispanic and a conservative, Asian and a conservative, you might as well be, to the liberals, a white male. You don't count. There's something wrong with you, and blah, blah, blah. So I just want to give you that background. Okay, so we'll get back to this now. When we come back, Ted Cruz respectfully telling Trayvon Martin's mom that stand your ground has nothing to do with your son's case. Had nothing to do with your son's case. Is not involved in your case. So we're here at a hearing for stand your ground, and, kind of with all due respect, he doesn't say this. What are you doing here? Because it's got nothing to do with what happened to Trayvon Martin. So we'll talk about that. We'll let you hear it when we come back, and we will be coming back. Oh, yeah. 877 Newsmax if you want to weigh in. 877 Newsmax if you want to weigh in. That's 639-7629. Put that on your T-shirt as well. I know there are no Newsmax. I have an old Newsmax T-shirt. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
We're in the midst of an obesity epidemic, and I'm not surprised. The statistics on obesity mirror an increasing trend of eating out or ordering in. In fact, some people dine out every night, but eating in restaurants is one of the biggest enemies of your heart. When you're in a restaurant, you don't really know what you're getting, and the calorie counts of many restaurant dishes are astronomical. In fact, some single dishes contain more calories than we should eat in an entire day. Eating in fast food restaurants is even worse. A diet of hamburgers, French fries, and shakes constitutes a fast lane to the emergency room. If you really want to help your heart, get in the habit of cooking simple meals at home. Here are 3 easy tips that will make your food taste better than even the best restaurant. Choose the best fruit in season. Your local farmer's market is a great place to start. It will probably still cost less than that pie you were thinking of buying. Get in the habit of using fresh herbs. You can use them in egg white omelets or dust them on the fish you grill or bake. And for a light dessert, choose a square or 2 of dark chocolate that you and your spouse can enjoy. There are lots of ways to make your heart healthy, but there are also lots of ways to damage it. That's why I wrote Fix It, Dr. Crandall's 90-day program. In it, I'll tell you how to kickstart your metabolism every day, how to pick the best diet for you, how to stop hunger from sabotaging your diet, the 7 superfoods for your heart. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute.
Constipation, gas, bloating, most people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro, developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein. Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really? Yeah.
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-908-1254, 800-908-1254.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll free at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
But we also know that the subject of this hearing, the Stand Your Ground laws, was not a defense that Mr. Zimmerman raised. So this entire hearing, the topic of this hearing is not the issue on which that trial turned. And sadly, we know that some in our political process have a desire to exploit that tragic, violent incident for agendas that have nothing to do with that young man who lost his life.
All right, welcome back, Steve Malzberg on the Steve Malzberg Show. That's Ted Cruz, after, trying to console Trayvon Martin's mom and saying that he, offering his condolences for her loss, basically said that, this hearing has nothing to. I mean, the hearing is Stand Your Ground, but this case involving her son had nothing to do with Stand Your Ground laws. And here's the next cut.
the verdict of the jury, and more broadly to inflame racial tensions that I think are sad and irresponsible. I recognize that for the family, you're simply mourning the loss of your son, and I understand that. But there are other players who are seeking to do a great deal more based on what happened that Florida night.
Yep, absolutely. And finally, Ted Cruz talks about how Stand Your Ground benefits, at least in Florida, the African-American community. And here's cut number 22.
I would note additionally that the chairman of this committee a moment ago made I thought, remarkable statement that to the effect that no one could reasonably believe that Stand Your Ground laws protect those in the African-American communities who are victims of violent crime. I think that's a remarkable statement on many, many fronts, including the fact that a great many African-Americans find themselves victims of violent crime and have asserted this defense to defend themselves, defend their families, defend their children. But I also find it remarkable because the assertion that no one reasonably could suggest this benefited the African-American community is drawn into remarkable relief when one keeps in mind that in 2004, a state senator in Illinois by the name of Barack Obama co-sponsored an expansion of Illinois' law providing civil immunity for those who use justifiable force to defend themselves. So the notion that Stand Your Ground laws are some form of veiled racism may be a convenient political attack, but it is not borne out by the facts remotely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I remember during the trial and after the trial with the talk about Stand Your Ground, I had the statistics from Florida. John Lott and I went over them. I went over them without John Lott or with you folks. And how many times African Americans used it, what percentage, the whole thing. And it clearly was to the advantage of African Americans down in Florida over the years that the survey was done. Now here, Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mom, went on Al Sharpton's show. You remember Al on MSNBC, and she took the senator to task over saying what he said. Here's cut number 24.
I think there's some disconnect there. I think he certainly is not aware of the real law and how it affects us as a community. I have a real problem when teenagers are afraid to walk to the store for a drink and candy. There are issues there, and you want everybody to feel comfortable and you want everybody to feel safe in their neighborhood. And just merely walking down the street and, you know, you're not armed. Trayvon was not armed. It just seems like something needs to be fixed.
I don't know what that has to do with Stand Your Ground. What does it have to do with Stand Your Ground? I mean, I don't want to rehash the case here, but Trayvon and George Zimmerman got into a confrontation. Witnesses saw Trayvon Martin pummeling George Zimmerman. His head was banged against the wall. He had a broken nose against the ground. What does that have to do with Stand Your Ground? What does what she's saying here have to do with Stand Your Ground? Here's the next cut.
Well, one of the things that was said that was Stand Your Ground was not used in this case. I heard Stand Your Ground over a year. It wasn't until the defense had to file a motion that I stopped hearing Stand Your Ground, which was a year later, which was April of 2013. Mm-hmm. From February 26, 2012, I had been hearing about Stand Your Ground from the police department, from the attorneys, from the news. Everybody said Stand Your Ground, and it wasn't something that we made up. It was something that they were going to use.
They did not use it. I don't care what the media kept saying or what people kept saying. They did not use Stand Your Ground. So it does not apply to this case, period. All right, folks, tomorrow we'll kick off the show with Senator Rand Paul, who will have some very interesting things to say. Steve Malzberg Show.